Let's see if reading books under 300 pages helps keep me out of my book slump. Hi, I'm Lacey, I love to read. Thanks for coming to my channel. I have been honestly in and out of a book slump all of August and this first half of September. And I was going through my physical TBR and I found 3 books that are under 300 pages and then one is over 300 pages. But if you look like inside the book, it's nowhere near 300 full pages. So I figured I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and I can get a lot of books knocked off my physical TBR and also read books that are shorter, and hopefully that means they're easier to get into and you just fly right through them. That's my goal. So I have 1, 2, I think they're all romance, which wasn't even my intention, but I have Shark Heart, which is about, I think, a person turning into a shark. Also, I've not really read much about any of these. Can't Help Faking in Love. I assume fake dating. I love fake dating. Next one is The Ladies Rewrite the Rules. I have no idea, but for some reason I thought that these were like the rats from Nutcracker. They're fully people. So I don't really know, honestly. And then Birds of California. I don't know about this one either. 4 books that we don't really know anything about, but I'm excited. I think that I need to get out of this reading slump. I've been in it for like a month and a half, like I said, and I just am not a fan at all. So we're gonna do a little reading vlog. Today is a Friday. I have like an hour straight to read. I honestly don't know which one I'm gonna pick up. A part of me wants to pick up this one because I literally thought it was rats, which is hilarious that I decided to keep it thinking it was rats, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So I have my books ready. If I don't, I think my goal is, too many words, I'm sorry. I'm very scatterbrained, especially on a Friday. But I think my plan is I'm going to read a chapter. If I feel like, oh my God, keep going, obviously I'm going to. If not, I'm gonna go through each one until I find one that I wanna read more than 1 chapter and start there, because we're really trying to get out of this reading slump, which means I'm not gonna force myself through a book that I think is boring in the beginning until I get some other books under my belt. So we got the books. We're starting with the Not Rat one. I'm gonna turn on the fall ambiance. Look at that. It's like I'm on a vacation. So we got our books, we got our ambiance, and we're gonna get reading. Okay, I got 54 pages in and that was less than an hour, and I only have like 200 pages left. So I'm having a really fun time already. To give a little synopsis of what I've read so far and kind of what the book's about, nothing spoiling, it's all in the back, but it's called The Ladies Rewrite the Rules. It's a Regency romantic comedy. So Diana is our main character and she is a widow and she finds random suitors come to her house and she's wondering who these 2 men are. And it turns out that they've been given this directory of wealthy widows and spinsters. And so she ends up getting the book and getting to see all the other women that are in this directory and also seeing who wrote it. She shows up at the author of the list's house and demands to know why he did it and how, kind of just exclaims all of her discomfort and frustrations with being a part of this list and how rude and disrespectful it is for him to make this list. And then he kind of doesn't really care, but she's kind of enamored by him and he's kind of enamored by her. And then she ends up calling all the other society women who are on this list to meet together and decide what to do about it. And they decide that it's actually a positive thing because now they can be in charge and be the ones who decide things instead of following society, which is letting the man choose everything and letting your family decide everything. So they decided that together they're gonna throw a ball with all these different guys and get to be kind of the people in charge, which is really fun. And it's just really easy to get into. I mean, page 54 and we're already that far in, which is really cool. So yeah, it's just easy to get into and I'm excited to see where it goes. And so far it's just like a fun, silly Regency book and I'm having a good time. Okay, last night I finished The Ladies Rewrite the Rules. It was really cute. Honestly, it was such an easy read. I felt like I basically watched like 3 episodes of Bridgerton. Like that's kind of how much I feel like they got through. So I feel like a normal book would be like the whole season and this little tinier book was like 3 episodes. But it was really cute and I thought it was really fun. Everything got resolved. And I felt like for a short book, I still knew each character and felt a little bit of a love for them or hatred. And yeah, I just thought it was really cute, and it was 258 pages, and I got to read it Friday, a little bit Saturday, and then the rest on Sunday. So it was very fun, very easy, and it did entice me to pick it up more because I was like, oh, well, you already are into the story, and I got into the story really fast. So I'm already on to my second book. I was debating this and Shark Heart, but I feel like Shark Heart would be a good in-betweener of the two, like, heavy romance. Not that they're heavy, but like very typical romance books. I'm reading Birds of California next. I fully thought this book was called Birds of a Feather. It is fully Birds of California, but it looks like it's an actor and an actress who work together, and they end up kind of meeting up again after the show ended and trying to see if they could help each other out. And it seems like they end up just really liking each other's company. So we'll see. I'm gonna start this today. It is 273 pages. So it's Monday, and let's see when I can finish this. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. I have to go to work, but just a little update. I did not have a lot of time to read Monday or Tuesday. So I'm only 22 pages in, but I can tell once I have enough time, I'll just fly through this. So I'm reading Birds of California. It's like low-key a second chance romance, in the sense that it's her old co-star who she shared a kiss with, and maybe more. I haven't gotten to any part that would tell me if there's more, but I'm liking the writing style, and so I think I'm gonna fly right through it once I have time. And I don't really have time today, but tomorrow and Friday I have a lot of time, so I'm hoping to be done by Friday. That's my plan. Shark Heart's next. Can't Help Falling in Love is after. I'm hoping to have all these done by Sunday. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna try, because I have like 2.5 more weeks of September. I just need to get through some books and get through my TBR and get into reading more, because I don't like having so many books. I have like still 20 something. We gotta get down so I can go to Barnes & Noble and get 5 books. So we're gonna keep going. It has been so long since I added anything to this vlog, but I'm still not done with this book, and it's been over maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I have like 30 pages left, so I'm planning on finishing it today, so I'll give an update then. But basically, I'm just in a horrible reading slump. I have no motivation to read. When I do finally get the motivation to read, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and I read 10 pages and fall asleep. So honestly, not going well, but I'm not really liking this book, unfortunately, and I'll give my thoughts when I finish it. So this was kind of a silly update, but basically the update is it's taking me forever to read. I'm hopefully gonna finish it tonight, and then we'll move on to Shark Heart. Okay, I can't believe how long it took me to finish Birds of California. This book is about Fiona and Sam. They were childhood actors together, but kind of like in their teens, not necessarily when they were little children. But they were on a show called Birds of California. Fiona kind of went off the rails, and Sam continued trying to make his career work in LA, trying to revive Birds of California, and Sam needs it because his other show just got canceled. So he talks to Fiona for the first time in years and finds her at her work and says, let's talk about this revival. And then they start to form a relationship. I just personally really hated how all of her outbursts and the way she treated people was so forgiven. And actually everyone flipped it and felt horrible and was like, I did something wrong. But really, she just needed to manage her own emotions. And yes, she went through hard things, and I don't want to discount that, and I love how it wrapped up. However, it just honestly felt kind of triggering the way it was like she got to scream at everyone and snap at everyone and get mad at everyone, and then they all were like, oh, I shouldn't have asked. That was my bad. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm a horrible person. And she was completely fine with being a jerk to everyone. So honestly, I didn't really like it. I rated it 3 stars. I'm glad it's over. I will be donating it. But last night, if you can believe it, I started Shark Heart. Here's like the desk cover. But I got to page 120, and I didn't realize that this book is 400 pages, and they are so short. Like I got to 120. So like, look at this. Like most pages are either like a little piece, or sometimes it's like a full thing. But like, it's not like I'm reading thick chapters. I think the longest chapter is like 3 pages. So I don't know how I feel about it. I have like anxiety about health conditions, and I know this is fake that he's like becoming a shark, but it is like a lot of medical talk sometimes. And I feel like that is kind of overwhelming for me, but it's a me problem, not a book problem. Overall, it's cute so far. It's definitely very like deep, and the writing style is really interesting. So I'm liking it. I feel like I'll finish it on the quicker side just because it's really easy to get through. And it's like, typically when you're like one more chapter, it's like 10 pages. But for me, one more chapter is like a page and a half or half a page. And so I feel like I just fly right through it. So hopefully I'll update you maybe later today or tomorrow that I finished. No promises. Honestly, the whole will reading short books get me out of a reading slump, it's not working. But this book might get me out of it. Okay, I'm really bad about this vlog. Who knows how this vlog will end up, but I did finish Shark Heart. I finished this the fastest out of every book in this little video that I'm filming. It was very beautifully written. Honestly, it is just a book about terminal illnesses. Instead of being like a terminal illness that we know of, it's a human turning into an animal. So I thought that it was very beautifully written. I don't love reading about health problems. My mistake. It has nothing to do with the book, everything to do with me. I'd probably read another book by this author if she has a book that doesn't have to do with terminal illnesses. But I rated it 3.75 solely for how beautifully it was written and how quickly I got through it and how the format was so different. Like each chapter was super short, like, and there was a lot of like mini manuscripts and mini scenes in a play, which was really fun, and it helped me get through it really fast because it actually is 400 pages, but you zoom right through it. And then I just started Can't Help Faking in Love. The book is a beautiful level of floppiness, and I'm only 14 pages in, and I love this writing style. I love how quickly I'm immersed in the story. I'm already very much committed to reading this and very much engaged. So I'm gonna read more, and then hopefully I'll have something to update you very soon, but knowing me, I'll update you in like a week, so we'll see. But it's Wednesday, so we'll see when I update you again. Okay, it took me like forever and 17 days to finally finish these 4 short books, but I did, and let's do a little recap. But I never finished talking about Can't Help Faking in Love. I really like this book. I so far like this book the most out of all the books I read in this video. This book is about Harsha and Veer, and Harsha comes from a very affluent Indian family, and she decides to kind of pave her own path, go to school in Berkeley, and then she comes back home to India and decides to live a little bit further away from where she's from, just to kind of pave her own way, like I was saying. And she ends up wanting to be a photographer instead of go into any of the other careers that her family would have approved of. And she finally has a boyfriend, and she feels like she's going on the right path, and then her boyfriend breaks up with her to go be in an arranged marriage. And so she kind of feels like she has no idea what she's doing with her life, and her cousin, she's kind of in this competition with at all times. She says, oh, so you're bringing this boyfriend to the anniversary party. And so she has to lie and say that the guy sitting next to her is her boyfriend so that she can keep up appearances. The guy sitting next to her ends up being Veer. Veer is her favorite barista from a cafe she goes to every day. And they ended up talking at a bar just because they happened to be at the same place at the same time. And then that's when her cousin came up. So that's what started their little fake dating. And they start off on the wrong foot because Harsha lies about what his career is and says he's actually like higher up at the coffee shop instead of just being a barista. And so they start off on the wrong foot, and unfortunately Veer needs money, so he goes along with this scheme. It's so fun, it's so cute, it's such like a sweet love, and it's definitely like a slow burn. You could tell they have attraction to each other and they both think the other person's very cute, but nothing happens until the end, which I love. I love when it actually takes time to be like tension and get them to liking each other more. Anytime there was like the slightest bit of miscommunication, it was either solved really quickly or they did very healthy things to cope with that first before they talked to each other. It was just a really well done, realistic, but really sweet and really caring and really fun romance. So I rated it 4.25 stars and I really liked it. But now giving like a recap of everything. I started off this video, as you saw, with the ladies who rewrite the rules. I rated this 3.5 stars. It was 258 pages, and it was a Regency romance about a woman who finds herself on this list that is for really wealthy women who are either spinsters or widows, and ends up kind of meeting up with the maker of the list, and they spark up an unlikely relationship, which is really fun. I thought it was super fun, great way to start this video. And then I moved on to Birds of California, which is my least favorite of this video. I rated this 3 stars, it was 273 pages. I didn't like this one as much because I didn't love their romance. I didn't really like believe the chemistry. I didn't love that she had a lot of personal problems and took it out on other people, and then every other person really bowed down to her problems and thought it was their fault that she was treating them like crap, basically. So I didn't love that, but it was really easy to read, and maybe I'd try a different book by this author if it just had different conflict or maybe a different main character. And then I moved on to Shark Heart, which is the longest book at 403 pages. However, so many of the pages, if you like, I can literally, like so many are not full pages. So it didn't really feel like a 400 page book. It was honestly like, I zoomed right through this. I rated it 3.75 stars, not 4 stars. It's basically a book about terminal illnesses, just told through the lens of they are turning into animals instead of dying. I did not realize that when I picked it up, but it was very beautifully written and a very beautiful read if you can handle that. I just don't do well with like medical things in books, even though obviously it was fake. Like they're not really turning in, people don't really turn into animals, but yeah. And then I just talked about Can't Help Faking Love, fake dating, super cute, set in India. I really enjoyed it, 4.25 stars. It's 255 pages. So, moral of the story, I thought my hypothesis when I went into this video was that if I read really short books, then I will get through them really fast. And honestly, that's just not the case. I have to just find books that I really enjoy to get me out of reading slumps. And I do feel like I'm kind of getting out of it. Honestly, I think it was this book that kind of helped me get out of the reading slump because I really enjoyed reading it and it just was a really cute little rom-com. So that's this video. I don't really know what kind of format it was. It was kind of weird. So let me know if you liked it or if you would like to see anything else out of this type of video. But thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching my video. I hope that you are not in a book slump like me. And if you are, I hope you're getting out of it like I finally feel like I am. Thank you so much for being here, and I really hope that the books you read bring you joy.